Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment. You join me here today on what's quite a typical mid-October afternoon, I would say. Little bit grey, spit spotting me rain, there's a little chill in the air, just telling you that autumn's actually here. We had some very unseasonably hot weather at the start of October actually, which was like 24, 25 degrees for several days, but now it's kind of settled back down, and it's just meaning everything here is settling down as well, and you know, not quite so much happening, but still plenty to do. And I've also picked something here very seasonal as well, this lovely sort of pumpkin or squash that we've got. So we've got plans to make a nice pumpkin soup with that, but of course, while that's all very interesting, you know, you didn't tune in to hear about the weather in North London or whether I picked a pumpkin or a squash. You of course tuned in to find out about some whiskey. And what is the Allotment Dram today, I hear you ask? Well, it's from one of the new distilleries in Scotland, and one that I was very excited to be invited to a couple of weeks ago. In fact, literally 2 weeks ago now I was there, and that is Lochlea. So this is the Lochlea Barley, and this is their core product. So they have like several other limited edition releases which are all quite seasonal, and I'll explain a bit more about that in a minute. But this is our Barley, which is their core product, always available. So it's really the cornerstone of their range of whiskies. And what can I tell you about Lochlea? Well, it's in Ayrshire. So what did it take? It took us about 40-45 minutes to drive like south of Glasgow. So the nearest town is Kilmarnock. And it was founded by Neil and Jennifer McGurk in 2015. And the first distillation actually took part in August 2018. So it took a little time to sort of get off the ground. But Neil bought Lochlea Farm around 2005-2006, I seem to remember him saying, and it was for beef and cattle. And also interestingly, Robert Burns, a famous Scottish poet, actually used to own that farm as well for several years, sort of towards the end of his life. But yeah, so Neil had this as a beef sort of cattle farm, and then decided sort of what could he do to diversify and sort of increase his income. So decided to, there's still some cows there, but decided to switch part of the property to growing barley for whiskey production, and to actually, rather than sell it on to somebody else, to actually use the barley to make his own whiskey. So that's where Lochlea kind of was born, so to speak. So now, you know, it's very unusual, but they actually grow all of the barley for their entire year's production on Lochlea Farm. So literally the fields all around the farm buildings and where the distillery and the warehouses are is all barley fields. So I was lucky, they'd literally just harvested maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I went, and got to see 600 tons of barley, which is what they'll use for the entire year. And roughly that will make around 200,000 litres of new make spirit. So really interesting place. I mean, not open to the public, you know, so I was very fortunate to get a visit there. So, you know, thank you to everyone that welcomed me so warmly there and showed me around and gave me real, like, warts and all tour. I love those things. But what can I tell you about our barley? As I said, it's the core product. So there's several other things which they've launched which show barley from harvested or planted and harvested from different seasons. So, you know, there's different nutrients and things within the barley depending on when it's planted, which a lot of people don't realise, but they're really showing that off. But our barley is the core product. This was launched in July 2022 and put together by John Campbell, who is the sort of, well, he described himself as like sort of, you know, Swiss Army knife of Lochlea. He's, you know, director of distilling, but he also does master blending. He also does this. He does a bit of, you know, stuff in the still house. He does, you know, a bit in the warehouse. He's sort of all over the place. But John was formerly at Lefroy. He was distillery manager there for a long time, over 20 years actually. And so he put this together as the core product, and he looks after all of the whiskies actually that come out of there. So this is a mix of first fill ex-bourbon casks, ex-Oloroso sherry casks, and then STR barriques. So for those of you that don't know, STR is shaved, toasted and recharred. So you take a barrel that's been used before, you shave off the inside, you then toast it again, and then you rechar it. Shave, toast and rechar, STR. So then of course you put the whiskey in, and it's kind of reinvigorated the cask, so it gives quite a lot back to the whiskey. So yeah, 46% this is released at. It's non-chill filtered, natural colour. Should be around 45 to 50 pounds, depends on where you shop. But it's very nice of them. They gave me this bottle so on my visit, so I thought I would open it for you and do the chat here. So where did I put my glass? Over here. Here we are. So I'll just do this, do a few notes, and then you can get on with your day. So lovely bottle as well, just sort of showing the sort of ears of barley, I guess, this design. Yeah, very, very nice. Here we are. Just pop that back down. Well, let's have a look. Firstly, you know, lovely vibrant gold in the colour. Looks absolutely wonderful. The smell is really enticing actually. I can smell it from here. You know, lovely, fresh, vibrant. It's a green apple. There's some muscovado sugar, there's some vanilla definitely, and then some like, you know, the big juicy sultanas. Yeah, it smells lovely, so I think we ought to have a taste. It's got a lovely mouthfeel. Not necessarily oily, but it's got some sort of viscosity to it. It's really, really very pleasant. And this fruit is like right at the front. You've got green apple again, a bit of pear, some pear drops. You know, this is quite young, so you always get these characters, but they're really in sort of quite youthful whiskey, but it's really pronounced here. Really delicious, vibrant. Then you've got this sort of vanilla, the big juicy sultana, like I said, and this sort of crumbly muscovado sugar. There's something else underneath. There's like a very distinct malty quality. It's like a malted biscuit or an oat cookie, something like that. So yeah, really nice. Let's have another taste. Gosh, that's good. You know, you can see, very fortunate that I get sent samples from, you know, lots of places, including these new sort of craft artisan distilleries. And you know, you can see different places have different things, but with this you can see there's so much. You know, even now it's good, but you can see the potential of, you know, talking to the guys there, they're storing stuff to be like 10 or 12 or, you know, 20 years old. So this is going to develop so nicely, and you know, given how good it is now. But what else are we getting? Like now it's sort of sat, sort of gone in my mouth, the sort of finish. I'm getting like a warm cinnamon cookies as well, some golden syrup, you know, maybe like a pinch of cocoa and sort of baking spices as well. But yeah, this lovely mix of this fresh green, so like apple and pear, fresh green fruit, then this sort of sugary muscovado sugar sultana quality, and then this sort of maltiness. It's a really nice mix. So yeah, I urge you to search this out. And you know, not too bad. You know, a lot of these new craft and artisan places are, you know, sort of putting their whiskies out at fairly unapproachable prices, but you know, 45, 50 pounds for this, you know, I'm just going to have to put this down, but you know, hats off to the guys there, because that, you know, means that you can buy it and, you know, you don't feel bad about opening it. You can taste it, and this is, you know, the thing they were saying, you know, they want to get people to taste their product. You can make something very exclusive or very expensive or difficult to get, but they want people to taste their whiskey. I think that's very important. So I think that's probably about it from myself and the Lochlea Barley. We're going to get on with a few other jobs now before that several days of bad weather hits me here. But I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we hope to see you again very soon for another allotment dram. Cheers!